the Clover Park High School Color Guard. So please rise for the posting of the colors, and then it will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Color guard. Hold. Rifles made. Ready. Flags. Ready. Break. Ready. Go. Ready. 2, 3, send. Color.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Color. Reform. March. Forward. March. Right thing. March.
All right. We will start, or well, we'll continue on to public comment, and we do have a few public comments tonight. So I will read some lengthy reminders. So I apologize in advance. The Board of Directors welcomes public participation in civil engagement. We'll hear public comment this evening for a maximum of 60 minutes. Please do not make remarks of a negative nature, singling out specific employees other than the board and its secretary. We value each individual's opportunity to be a part of the public participation process. Participants are expected to follow board policies and procedures, which include civility and courtesy. Individuals who engage in hateful or offensive actions, including use of profane language, will immediately be asked to leave the meeting or blocked from accessing the meeting via the Zoom platform. If you want to give public comment, if you are in person, please fill out a public comment card. And if you are virtual and would like to do public comment, please put your name in the chat box rather than using the raise hand feature. You'll be given 3 minutes for public comment, and an individual may receive 1 deferment of time, making the total speaking time for any individual a maximum of 6 minutes. If you'd like a response, please provide your home address and phone number either on the card or in the chat. And we'll call on the community in the order that we receive, and we'll alternate between in-person and virtual. If the time expires and you are not finished with your comment, you can send them to the superintendent's office and the board of directors will receive a copy. And please, when you're speaking, state your name and then the school district in which you reside. So we will start with Ursula Scott.
Hello, I have to hurry, watch the time. My name is Ursula Scott. I live in Lakewood. I'm actually in the Steilacoom School District, my side of the street in Oakbrook is Steilacoom. But I have a special affinity for Clover Park District because first of all, it's a bigger district, more people are being addressed. And I know that you have a superintendent who really cares, and that makes a big difference. I am here to talk very quickly about my concern about the trafficking of children, especially in our area. And I'm talking to Superintendent Bannon, and he is assuring me that you already have a curriculum in place for children. That is something that I wanted to point out how important it is that parents staff members, every staff member at every level in the district, and children are knowledgeable about what trafficking of children means, or trafficking of anyone, and what can be done to protect children. And sometimes parents even are not very knowledgeable about that. Some parents, when you see them in stores, they are letting their little children run around. All it takes is for a mom to turn her back, look at something, someone comes in and sweeps out the child. And that's done in seconds. The problem of trafficking children is huge, especially when you look at the numbers on the internet. It's absolutely mind-boggling, especially in our area where we have an international airport. We have another international airport in Portland, very close by. We have I-5. You get back and forth very quickly. We have this Port of Seattle, the Port of Tacoma, and the Port of Portland. So we are living in a really dangerous area for children and trafficking, the potential to be trafficked. We also, I'm watching the time, I'm getting kind of nervous. But anyway, so that is my concern. I'm asking the school board, in addition to what is already being done, to look into the issue. I am going to send a letter to Superintendent Bannon, who assured me that he will pass it on to the board members, and I will get into a little bit more detail. I will also talk about an incident of obvious child trafficking that I witnessed in Villa Plaza several years ago. I called the police, not 911, but the other number. They told me, oh, well, that guy is probably just soliciting that child. And I'm thinking, no, a grown man is not going to solicit a scared girl of no more than 14 years. She most likely was 12, just a little thing. And I saw how she turned over money to him after she got out of someone's car. He berated her when he saw the amount. It was all crumpled up in her hand. She put her head down. And here I am sitting too far away to do anything. I couldn't have intervened anyway because I may have gotten shot or something, but I called the police. And I tried to follow another car that immediately pulled up and took this girl away. But traffic got in between that car and me, so I could not follow to where they were going and to give further information to the
I'm
police.
so sorry. I hate to cut you off, but to keep it fair for everyone, I have to keep it at 3 minutes. So I'm so
I'm
sorry.
done. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
Okay,
But if
thank
you
you.
send the comments, he will
follow
pass
up.
on.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. And I don't think we have any more comment cards. If you are here virtually and you want to speak, it seemed like someone may have wanted to speak earlier. Please put your name in the chat box, and then we can unmute you. I don't see anyone. It would show if they were typing, correct? Okay, I'm not seeing anyone typing virtually, so we are going to move on from public comment. So we appreciate those who came tonight to speak, and we will move on to reports from the superintendent.
Thank you, President Anderson Pearson and board directors. I have a few things I want to bring you up to speed on with the start of a great school year. In August, I met with all departments in meetings or presentations to their respective teams to share initially a thank you for the service that these folks have brought to our students, as well as some expectations for as we move forward into the next school year. This culminated with a presentation to all certificated staff at Harry Lang Stadium on August 21st, 2025. The energy was unrivaled. It was a great positive energy of our staff getting ready. I was able to feed off of the energy, and we actually ended the day with, or ended that 2-hour session. I think we actually went about an hour and a half, but we ended with, what do they call the flash mobs when a bunch of people all meet? Well, we did a flash mob on the field with the electric slide. So we slid into the new year with the electric slide. During the first 3 days of school, Deputy Superintendent Dr. Raymond and I visited all school sites and programs from early learning to high school. We also had council members who went out to visit and show their schools, our schools, their support to the principals and to their staff members. Again, the energy on these days was really positive. Last Friday, we completed our 4 days of September count. We like to start early, so it was actually our 7th day, but the 4th day of September count, which I call the money day. We reached 99.87% of our projected budgeted number of students. So we were only under our count by 15 students, which is phenomenal. So kudos to our finance department, kudos to all folks that were involved in our count meetings. There were, unfortunately, because we were under, as a macro number, we were right, in the range that we need to be at, but there were several schools that were under their number, which means staff members have to be transferred to schools that were over their number. And it was pretty clean for us this year. There were 4 elementary staff members, different schools, and 3 secondary staff members who will be transferred, those elementary to 4 elementaries that were over and the 3 secondary that were over. There was actually 1 more secondary school that was under, but as a count team, based on their status, we elected to keep the staff member there. We provided some additional support to that school. These moves are never easy. They usually are accompanied by large disappointment, emotions, tearful emotions. And so we will have folks from our Human Resources Department meet with principals who will meet with the impacted staff members. We follow our CPA collective bargaining agreement when we're going through this process. That doesn't make it easier for the person. What we also do is try to support the people that are being involuntarily transferred, essentially as much as we can. We have our utility crew who will, move their things for them. We provide, I think, is it 2 days? 2 days so that they can, 1, set up their new classroom, get to know folks at the new building, and we'll have some substitutes out where necessary to support those moves. And so, again, none of it's going to change the fact that they were hired on at a school and wanted to be at that school. But it is the inevitable count day, 4th day count day. And so we did that on Friday. We did not let anybody know on Friday. That's not the way we want people to have their weekend. And so this week they will be notified, and we'll go from there, get them started at their new building. We also work with the receiving principals to ensure that they are welcomed with open arms and with the staff and the principals. So do our best to make the best of what kind of feels crummy, especially for the impacted staff member. Every year, the first days of transportation can be rough in terms of getting the kids to school on time, making sure we have the right number of buses. Our transportation department has monitored this issue year over year. This is an especially critical year or more impactful year in terms of some rotating gate closures that we expect at Joint Base Lewis McChord, as well as some city street construction. And so we did identify 4 schools, and extra buses were sent for overloads, and then that will tend to kind of calm itself down. And I just spoke with the transportation director this morning, and he assures me that they're continuing to monitor, and they will make any decisions or changes based on the data, which is the number of students that are at the stops riding the buses, et cetera. And that concludes my report for this evening.
All right, thank you. We'll now move to the consent agenda. So just as a reminder to the community, the board has had an opportunity to review these agenda items with the superintendent. So board, is there a motion to approve items 26-01 through 26-012 from the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Director Kim. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Director Thomas. We'll just move right to the vote. All those in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. And the motion passes unanimously.
Could I just speak to one of the things on there?
So you can't unless you pull it off.
Okay.
As,
I just wanted to point out that the national championship, that our JROTC that we saw is going to the national championship. And that is on the consent agenda. So woo, woo. to them.
That's fine. We can
Okay.
woo. I'm like, it's,
Yeah.
I'm like, the vote already
Yeah, no,
happened.
no,
into
no.
it.
I just wanted to make sure that those in the audience knew that.
Ah, very exciting. All right. And I guess I just realized as we were doing that, Director Lowry is gone tonight. He's excused. So it's just four of us tonight, obviously. Okay, we'll move to individual action items. Our first individual action item is number 26-013, negotiated agreement between Clover Park School District and the Clover Park Association of School Principals. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Director Kim. Is there a second?
I will second.
Right, seconded by Director Caldwell. Superintendent Banner, can you speak to this?
Yes, the current agreement between the Clover Park School District and the Clover Park Association of School Principals expired on June 30th, 2025. The district entered into collaborative discussions with the Clover Park Association of School Principals for a successor agreement. Both parties have reached a tentative successor agreement with the board parameters for the period of July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2028. The board was provided with provisions of this agreement in the executive session on August 11, 2025. Passage of this resolution approves the agreement between the district and the Clover Park Association of School Principals for the period of July 1, 2025 to June 30, 2028, and I recommend approval of this action.
Are there any questions or comments? All right, then we'll proceed with the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay, and the motion passes unanimously. I'll now move to individual action item number 26-014, award recommendation for facility condition assessment and OSPI state study and survey. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Director Thomas. Is there a second? Seconded by Director Caldwell. Superintendent Banner, can you speak to this?
Yes, as reviewed by the board on August 25th, 2025, the district needs a facility condition assessment and an OSPI study and survey. Per RCW 39.80.030, the district annually advertises a request for qualifications for consultants interested in providing architectural, engineering, and related services to be included in our architects and engineering roster. Per RCW 39.80.040, after a review of the applications received and based on qualifications, it was determined that Cezanne, I think I'm saying that right, Cezanne Group offers the most depth of experience and assets to the project. Approval of this resolution authorizes the superintendent under RCW 39.80.050 to enter into a contract with Cezanne Group to conduct the 2025 facility condition assessment and OSPI study and survey analysis and related consulting services as outlined in the Cezanne Group proposal for the amount not to exceed $500,000 plus sales tax. And I recommend approval of this action.
Are there any questions or comments? All right, we'll proceed with the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay, and the motion passes unanimously. We'll move to our last individual action item, number 26-015, award recommendation for design services of 8 classrooms at the Early Learning Building. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Director Kim. Is there a second? Seconded by Director Thomas. Superintendent Banner, can you speak to this?
Yes, again, as reviewed by the board on August 25th, 2025, recent legislation changes requiring ECAP programs to move from half-day to full-day programming by the 2030-2031 school year has resulted in a need for Clover Park School District to expand the number of physical classrooms at our early learning program site. Per RCW 39.80.030, the district annually advertises a request for qualifications for consultants interested in providing architectural, engineering, and related services to be included in our architects and engineers roster. Again, per RCW 39.80.040, after a review of the applications received and based on qualifications, it was determined that McGranahan PBK offers the most depth of experience and assets to the project. Approval of the resolution authorizes the superintendent under RCW 39.80.050 to enter into contract with McGranahan PBK for architectural and engineering services for the design of an 8-classroom standalone building to be located at the district's early learning program site for the amount not to exceed $374,000 plus sales tax. And I recommend approval of this action.
Are there any questions or comments? All right, then we'll proceed with the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. And the motion passes unanimously. Matters for discussion. So the first and main thing on this is the WASDA General Assembly positions that lead to the WASDA legislative platform. So everyone was to fill out the paper that government sent. And typically we go through on the ones that have more than one, a 3-2 vote, essentially, unless you want to talk about anything else. So we can do that. And I do have one, but I'm going to look through them first to see. Doesn't seem like there's no 3-2. Okay, if there are any, like for the first one, I mean, if anyone feels passionately about one that was opposite, since we don't have many, we do have some time if you want to talk about them. I can mention briefly why I abstained from the parents and families are important stakeholders in their children's education. I actually talked to Superintendent Banner about this. I don't necessarily disagree with either the original or the amendment. I actually liked that the amendment said that parents were, I actually brought my paper because I don't want to get this wrong. Primary was worse. I liked that it said primary, and I disagreed with WASDA's note that said it was too harsh of a change, because as a parent myself, I am the most important, the primary person in my child's education. That said, what I didn't like, it didn't say parents, guardians, or family. And I obviously understand that parents might not be the correct term for some of our students or many of our students. So that's why I abstained, because I actually didn't like WASDA's reasoning of saying it was just too harsh, because I don't think primary is a harsh word when it comes to parents. I think that that's actually very true. So I'm like, you know what? I don't really like the original and I don't like the new one. So I'm just going to abstain. So I just wanted to mention that. Kind of seems weird when you see a abstain from parents and families are important stakeholders in their children's education. So if anyone else has any that they feel that they voted differently.
I just had one. It was, it was early on. It was actually the first amendment
Mhm.
where it talked about WASDA wanting to lengthen the amount of time it would take for an amendment
Yeah.
to the Constitution and policy and procedures to happen. And I wondered if that was why they wanted to extend that timeline. I read the statements. I got that in terms of it's just not enough time for them to meet. But then my thought is it's a group of people whose job it is to meet. And so why aren't they able to do that job in that amount of time? And why do we need to extend it?
That is a good point.
That was all.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand that. I guess I don't know what it takes behind the scenes of like coordinating or like if it's easy for them to meet. So, but maybe they'll talk about it and folks will chat about it. I don't think there are any other ones. This one was there was a no on the 13 stabilizing district budgets. Did you want to chat about that one or? If not, it's fine. There's just a couple, so I'm like, I guess we might, what people have to say since there's not. And then I don't know who director two is. When there's not a name, I'm like, I don't know by director districts, but 17 also had a different one, so. And 18, governance training. It's interesting about the governance training, because I see there's one pass. There's no way to mandate the training for volunteer positions, so you can say the boards must do this, but you can't get someone off the board. Really not a thing. It's a very hard task. You'd have to have a whole new election, so I can see why WAS has said no to that, because you could say it's mandatory, but then what's going to happen if they don't take the training? Nothing. Yeah, so if there's nothing else that anyone wants to talk about, we can just go to the board reports. Otherwise, we have our votes on how to go for the General Assembly.
You got it. Yeah. Should be coming out.
I'll check after. I will check after this, and I will make sure that I get that link to you. All right, board reports. Want to start? That report?
I had the opportunity to attend the JBLM Back to School Bash.
Mhm.
Did I talk about that here already?
No.
Okay. I can't remember. It all blurs together. It was just a wonderful event. Like I had never been before. It was rather large. There were all sorts of activities that were happening. And I think two highlights for me were watching the little children interact with our bus, our remote control bus, which was just hilarious. And, you know, they couldn't see who was driving it and were very intrigued by it. But then the other thing is I was giving away books to folks as they were coming up. And, you know, we had a bunch of chapter books at one table, picture books at the other. And this dad and his son came up to the picture book or to the chapter book. And he's like, oh, he can't read. He needs to go over there and pick a picture book. And they went over and he picked up an early reader one and he started reading it. And he, you know, he got a little help reading it from the other staff member that was there. But dad was like, I didn't know he could read. And so we sent them home with, I think, 5 or 6 of the beginning readers for them to take home and practice reading. And it was just, you know, sometimes summers can be long and parents sometimes aren't sure what their kids are capable of. And it was just an amazing moment to witness this little boy and how proud his dad was of him and that connection that they made over reading this book. So I think that's going to be one of my highlights for the year.
Now you got to follow that. Lucky you. All right. All I have is that I went to the kickoff event, which is one of my favorite events of the year. And it's even better when it's sunny outside. I feel people's moods are a lot better. I did not stay for the electric slide, but not on purpose. I had to be in Marysville, or Lynn, I don't know, somewhere up north. And, but I saw Director Thomas sprinting to his car, okay, and he did not have to be north of Seattle. So I'm like, you're retired. The electric slide is over there.
And I grabbed,
I also got called up by my family. They're like, I didn't see you in the photo. I'm like, you look harder, you still won't find me. So anyway, it was a fun event, really fun. We had rapping, student speaking. That's always the best. The student speaking is always my favorite part. Anyway, so good.
I did slide.
You did?
I
Oh.
stayed and Miss Moss, I slid with her and the previous board director.
Oh,
Anthony.
Yeah.
Yep. Drug him out there. Mhm.
Well, that
It's
is
fun.
fun. It was a fun time. I feel like people were excited about that. I saw some stories on it. So heard you sing again. And the amount of times that I have heard you sing is truly unbelievable. I should start just tallying it up, but it's already at the end. But I mean, someone probably has a tally. It's always fun. I'm so well, the kids probably aren't as excited that they're back in school, but I love seeing the kids and just the routines, I guess, get back to normal. It's fun and the excitement is always high the first 2 weeks, and then I feel like it tapers off, but maybe we can keep it high. Yeah, that's all. And then there's no executive session
Well,
tonight.
and Director Anderson, I heard that one of the students that spoke used an AAC device to speak.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Which, y'all know our special ed kiddos are near and dear to my heart. So I really appreciated the inclusion of a student who had an alternative communication device. And the space created for that student to share their story.
Yeah, it was, and I saw the teacher that that student was speaking about and definitely brought tears. I knew who it was because she was crying in the audience, but it was just, yeah, it was very touching. It was nice to see, and show all of, all of our students and a good, not all, but a good representation of our student body. So yes, you are correct. Thank you for bringing that up. And then, yeah, like I said, there's no executive session tonight. And then there's a first reading of policy 6217, electric funds transfer. This is probably close to a record because it's only 6:31, but we are at the end of our agenda. Yes, is there a motion to adjourn? Moved by Director Caldwell. Is there a second? Seconded by Director Thomas. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay, and we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. There we go.